everyone, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Kathleen, and in today's video I wanted to go ahead and share with you guys a book haul. So it's been a very long time since I last did my book haul. My last book haul was up until May of 2018, and then I just never did one again. I don't know why. It's just I don't buy as many books as I used to. So I was going to do another book haul that was going to be from June of 2018 to possibly till now. However, I thought that was just going to be too crazy. I don't even remember which books I bought way back when in June. So I decided to just go ahead and scratch that idea and start all over. Today's book haul is going to be from January of this year all the way till March. Now I have a total of 14 books to show you guys, so let's go ahead and get started. Alright, so the first book that I bought was back in January, and it was the Mortal Instruments series graphic novel. This is volume 2. I absolutely love the Mortal Instruments series. It is one of my favorite series of all time. I think that the story is unique and the characters are really good and the stories are really great. So of course I wanted to own the graphic novels as well. I'm not entirely sure if volume 3 is out already. However, I do want to own every single volume just because, again, I love the series. Alright, and then the next book that I bought back in January was Skyward by Brandon Sanderson. This was actually recommended to me when I asked for more recommendations about books set in outer space. I am not entirely sure what the book is about beyond the fact that it is sci-fi, but I know that there is a world that's in peril, there are fighters, and honestly that's all I need. Brandon Sanderson is a very popular author here on BookTube. He wrote the Mistborn trilogy, which is very beloved here on BookTube, so I'm excited to dive into this book. Alright, and then the next book that I bought was Wildcard by Marie Lu. This is the sequel to Warcross. Warcross is a video game based book. It is a world where honestly technology is really advanced. People wear these glasses and they can tune into this virtual reality game, and it's really cool. I actually really enjoyed the first book. I mean, I had critiques about the first book, but I still quite enjoyed it, so I did want to read the second book in the series. Alright, and then the next book that I bought was Dear Martin by Nick Stone. So I was recommended this book because I ended up loving The Hate You Give, and a lot of people said that this is very similar. It is about a boy who is in the car with his friend and he gets into altercation with an off-duty police officer over the volume of his music, and his friend gets shot and he dies. And so it is about the Black Lives Matter movement, and I actually really loved this book. My only critique is I didn't quite like the writing style of this book, but I did end up giving this book 4 stars, and I think it has a very powerful message, and so I would recommend everybody to read it, especially if you really enjoy The Hate You Give. Alright, and then the next book that I bought was Thunderhead by Neil Shusterman. This is the sequel to Scythe. It is the second in the trilogy, and I read Scythe earlier this year and I loved it. It was so good. It's set in a futuristic world where basically humanity has conquered death and disease, so now people live longer. Society has created what is called the Scythedom, and people are signed up to be scythes. They basically choose like certain people to die. It's kind of like population control in a way, and I loved the first book. It was so good. I gave that book 5 stars, and this is the sequel. I still have not read this. I wanted to wait until Neil Shusterman announced the release date for the 3rd and final book, and it has been released. It is now going to be released in November of this year, and I'm so excited. So I do need to pick up this book very soon. Alright, and then the next book that I bought was Defy the Worlds by Claudia Gray. This is the second book in the Defy the Stars trilogy. As you guys know, because I read this a few months ago and I reread Defy the Star a few months ago as well, I love this series. It is a sci-fi book set in outer space. It is about an android, or a mech is what they call, and he starts to develop human feelings. He develops a human soul. He comes across this soldier whose life has always been to kill mechs, and they kind of go on this adventure together to try to stop a war that is brewing. And so I love the series so much. I read this book already, gave it 5 stars. I do have the 3rd book, which was actually just recently released, and I need to read it soon because I need to find out what happens next. Alright, and then the next book that I bought was Pudding by Julie Murphy. This is kind of like the sequel companion to Dumpling, which is actually now a Netflix movie, in case you didn't know. So Dumpling is about this girl, this fat girl who joins a beauty pageant because her mother is a former beauty pageant queen. So she's kind of always been in this beauty pageant world, and she's always felt unsure of herself and insecure due to her size, but she decides to join because she wants to basically show the people that she is beautiful too, and she can win a pageant if she wanted to as well. And I love the message. A lot of people didn't like the message. They said that the message didn't quite hit the mark, I guess. Pudding is actually following two characters from the original book, so it's not following the main character from the first book. And I love the first book so much that I decided to buy this one because I really want to read it as well. Alright, and then the next book that I bought was On the Come Up by Angie Thomas. Angie Thomas is the beloved author who wrote The Hate You Give. This book kind of centers around the same theme. It is about this girl who is a rapper. She wants to become a famous rapper, and she releases a song that kind of gets misunderstood by the world, and people start calling her a gangbanger and anti-police, and she has to come up with a way to not only deal with all these rumors but also kind of get people to actually understand what her song is actually about. And I ended up really loving this book. I certainly did not love this book as much as I love The Hate You Give. I think The Hate You Give is just a rising star in my heart, but this book was good as well. It was absolutely excellent. I gave this book 5 stars. Alright, and then the next book that I bought is actually a bargain buy. I found this at the Dollar Tree, and it was $1, and it was The Spinning Starlight by R.C. Lewis. This is the Wild Swans retelling, and it's actually a book set in outer space. It's a sci-fi book. I'm not entirely sure what this book is about besides the fact that it said galaxies and worlds and planets in the synopsis, and I was like, I'm hooked. I'm buying this, and it was only $1, guys. Only $1. It's very short, so whenever I get to reading this, it will not take me long at all. Alright, and then the next book that I got is The Gilded Wolves by Roshani Chotsky. This was actually my Owl Crate books for the month of January. To be perfectly honest, I don't quite remember what this book is about. However, I am actually planning on reading this next month in May for the Asian Readathon that Read with Cindy is hosting. I've been hearing mixed reviews about this book, so I'm not entirely sure what to expect, but I am excited to dive into this book and just kind of like form my own opinions on it. And then the next book that I got is my February Owl Crate book, and it is Crown of Feathers by Nikki Palpatro. Again, not too sure what this book is about. I do know that there are phoenixes in this book, and there's wars and soldiers and phoenixes, and that just sounds pretty darn cool, and this has beautifully sprayed edges as the Owl Crate exclusive. Alright, and then the next book that I bought, these are books that I bought in the month of March, so we're almost coming to an end, and it is The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I already read this book. If you guys have watched my I Survived Reading The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo vlog, then you know that this book destroyed me. I loved this book so much. It is definitely one of my favorite books of all time, but this is about a reporter who is doing a life story on the famous actress Evelyn Hugo, and Evelyn Hugo has had 7 husbands in her lifetime, and so obviously doing a life piece on Evelyn Hugo means talking about her 7 husbands, and this book takes you on such an emotional roller coaster ride. You don't even know. You're gasping the whole time. You're just like, what is happening the whole time? It's such a beautiful book. I cannot even fathom. Like, I cannot recommend this book enough. Alright, and then the next book that I bought, again in March, is actually another book that I also already read, and it is The Blood Spell by C.J. Redwine. This is the 4th book in the Ravenspire series by C.J. Redwine. Every book is based off of a different fairy tale. The Blood Spell is based off of Cinderella. I feel like C.J. Redwine did such a good job with implementing these beloved fairy tales into her stories, and she takes a bit of a darker spin into the fairy tales, and so I really enjoyed this series. I would highly recommend it. This is the 4th and final book that she's contracted to write. If she writes more in the future, who knows? I surely hope so, because again, I really enjoyed her takes on the fairy tales. Alright, and then the final book on this book haul is The Astonishing Color of After by Emily X.R. Pan. This was recommended to me during my Read Your Favorite Books March TBR, and I enjoyed this book. I will say that I actually really liked it. However, I did not enjoy it as many other people have. This book is so highly rated on Goodreads. I am surprised as to why I didn't love this book. The story was beautiful, the writing was beautiful. However, I made no connection reading this book. I read the story and it was good, and I acknowledged that. However, I felt no emotional connection to this book. And this book is supposed to be very emotional. It is about this girl whose mother commits suicide, and she believes that her mother became this red bird. It's a beautiful story. I just, for some reason or another, cannot make a connection to this book, and I really wish I did. I ended up giving this book 3.5 stars. Alright guys, and there you go. That was my latest book haul. That is from January to March. Who knows when I'll be doing my next book haul. I mean, I might forget to do a book haul and then just do another book haul next year. Hopefully that doesn't happen, because I don't like not doing book hauls. I think they're a lot of fun to film, and also I really enjoyed watching a lot of book hauls too, just to see what kind of books everybody's buying. Anyway guys, let me know down in the comments below if you have read any of these books and what you thought of them, because I would really love to know. Anyway guys, thank you all so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Please give it a like if you did, and subscribe to my channel if you're not already. All of my social medias are linked down below, including Twitter, Instagram, and Goodreads. If you'd like to follow me on those platforms, hope to see you guys in my next video. Have a good day guys, and keep reading. Bye!